What is up, college lacrosse fans? You are watching another episode of the LaxFactor Podcast, our second episode today. This one's premiering live. I am not live right now, so don't try to comment like I can hear you. Well, actually, that's not true. I can hear you, and I will see you, and I will reply back, but I am not doing this live. This is going to premiere live, but it will not be actually live. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're notified every time we put out a new video. If you want to support the channel, go to LaxFactor.com. You can get yourself a dope t-shirt. You can get yourself some shorts. And at the end of this video, we're going to announce the winner of the Channel 4 News Lacrosse Reversible from TribeLacrosse.com. I digress. Let's get into this. The LaxFactor Podcast. Okay, so we start to look at the brackets here. We're going to start with the team that I think got hosed, the number 1 seed, Penn State. They get the easiest game coming in here. They're going to get to play UMBC, and that's a guaranteed win for them to get into the quarterfinals. But they get done with that easy gimme game. They've got to play the winner of Cuse Loyola, and that is tough. It's a tough matchup for Penn State, either way you look at it, and that's just a tough draw for the number 1 seed. I remember years ago when Syracuse was the number 1 or 2 seed, they drew Hopkins, I believe, because Hopkins had finished close to 500. And I remember thinking, you get a high seed in the tournament, but you got to play Hopkins already. And I think that's kind of like this. The field is just so stacked that at some point you're just going to get screwed, and you got to start, licking your wounds and just playing the brutal teams. As I look at their bracket, though, and we get through their section, we got Penn State's going to beat UMBC. I've already picked Syracuse to beat Loyola, so it doesn't matter. I think that no matter who wins the Loyola-Syracuse game, I do think Penn State beats that team in the quarters, and they will advance to Memorial Day weekend. So I think Penn State makes it out of their bracket into Memorial Day weekend. The next one, we got number 5, Yale, and number 4, Penn. So Yale's got Georgetown. I've already picked Yale to beat Georgetown, and I've already picked Penn to beat Army West Point. So who do I pick to get out of that bracket? And I'm going to say Yale exacts revenge on Penn, and Yale's going to end up making it to the Final Four and Memorial Day weekend out of that bracket. So we end up with Penn State versus Yale on Memorial Day weekend on Saturday, May 25th at, I don't know, it says noon or 2:30. It'll depend on who wins the other brackets. But I really do. You look at that path, though. Penn State has to get past the first round, easy. Then they got to play Loyola Syracuse winner. Then they've got to play winner of the four-banger there, Yale, Georgetown, Penn, Army, West Point. None of those are easy teams to beat. But I do think that Penn State will get out of that bracket, and I think Penn State makes it to the finals because I do believe that they're going to beat Yale or Penn in the semis. Boom, we get that far. We go to the other bracket. Now we're looking at Virginia, Bobby Moe, they advance. Towson, Maryland, I've already picked Maryland. Notre Dame, Hopkins, I've already picked Hopkins. And Duke, Richmond, I picked Duke. So we go into, I think Virginia will beat Maryland in the quarterfinals and advance to Memorial Day weekend. I think it'll be a good game, but I think Virginia is just offensively way too much for Maryland. So I do think that Virginia will beat Maryland in the quarters to advance to the Memorial Day weekend, and I believe that Johns Hopkins is going to beat Duke in the quarterfinals to advance to Memorial Day weekend. So we have a Johns Hopkins versus Virginia old school battle in the semifinals. Who do I think wins that game between Virginia and Johns Hopkins? Wait for it. Virginia. Virginia's going to beat Hopkins in the semis, and they will advance to play Penn State in the finals. Who wins the game between Penn State and Virginia in the finals? And man, I want to say Virginia in the worst way. I haven't actually planned this out outside of the first round games. I've been shooting from the hip, and I really do want to pick Virginia just because of all their weapons. But I think that Penn State faces off better. Penn State plays as good a defense. They have more solid goalkeeping play, fill it up on offense just like Virginia can. So I think Penn State is our eventual national champion. I think they beat Loyola Syracuse winner. They beat Yale, Georgetown, Penn, Army, West Point winners. They beat Virginia in the finals. I still think they got the raw deal drawing that Loyola Syracuse game, but who else were they going to draw? How are you going to make that fair? If Army wins out through their little bracket and Penn State ends up playing Army, then you could say, hey, that's fair for the 1 seed, but that's not how it works. So I think Penn State is our national champion at the end of all this, and I believe that the final 4 teams are going to be Penn State, Yale, Virginia, Hopkins. At the end of all this, all of the people that cried for the head of Dave Petramala, he's going to be standing there on Memorial Day weekend at either noon or 2:30 with his middle finger in the air saying, fuck the free world, because he got his team to the final, to Memorial Day weekend. I really do think Petro is going to be able to get that chance. We get here, and I'm actually really happy about who won this, because we have a lot of guys that comment all the time, that comment on every video. I have guys that watch every video and they prove it by commenting and saying something, that I covered 20 minutes deep into some rambling or whatever. So I was pleased to see that one of the guy who won the reversible here, I'm not sure he even wants it, but he won it, and it's one of our really regular viewers, one of our regular commenters. Whatever won it. I know that what you're going to say to this whatever, when I tell you that you won it, you're going to say, whatever. I don't care. I won it. Yeah, cool. But whatever ended up being the winner. He ended up having, I think, 3 or 4 entries from the various videos that he commented on to get in. So whatever wins the jersey. In our next video that we're going to put out on Monday, the next official video, I'll probably put out some quick hits on Saturday and Sunday. Probably won't go into anything in depth, but we'll do something from the back porch or something as I'm watching games. But on Monday, we'll put the new one up. We'll go through the weekend's games and the matchups for the following week and everything like that. As always, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. You want to get some swag and support the channel, go to LaxFactor.com. Get yourself a t-shirt. We have this t-shirt, the LaxFactor logo tee. We also have the dope Rampage shorts. Some people think they're ugly. To you guys, I say, I don't know. I don't really say anything. I don't think they're ugly. I think they're kind of cool. And as always, I appreciate you watching. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, share the video, all that good crap. And we are out of here. Enjoy this weekend of lacrosse.